Alright, so Valve just released a pretty chunky update in terms of gameplay and animation. There are some amazing map adjustments to Inferno, Train, and Overpass, but before we dive into all of that and break it down, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. For those of you that don't know, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that allows you to select the old skins you don't want anymore and pick out some new ones from the monkey. It's a great way to freshen up that old dusty inventory, and hey, that's not all. They have some amazing filter and selection features, as well as 24/7 live support. If you click the link in the description, you can get a free $5 and a 30% deposit bonus that becomes 35% if you use my code TACTICS on the site. Don't miss out on this offer and check out SkinsMonkey today. Let's get back into the video. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to include a full showcase of all the new animations at the end of this video, so if you're just here for that, go ahead and skip to the end. But what we're going to do is dive into all of the nerdy changes that have been made across the different maps and see how it's going to impact the gameplay. Now, this first change on Inferno I am super excited about. It is, of course, opening up these windows again. So you can throw mollies out through this in a post plant, or more importantly, we can throw nades through here on the retake. That is one of the most important things they needed to address about the current iteration of Inferno, and this is a fantastic step in the right direction. I cannot stress enough how excited I am to look for lineups through these windows. And almost just as exciting, they've cleaned up this nightmare of a claustrophobic mess that used to be behind Coffin. Now it is very clean, the angles are much easier, the clearing progression is just so much cleaner without all of this nonsense that used to be back here. I think they've narrowed this part of the door, but they've widened this area, and I really love it. I think, again, this is going to help out in the retakes. And no, your eyes were not deceiving you. They've turned first oranges into a little staircase for the Ts, or retaking CTs. This is pretty cool. It's added in some new angles you're going to have to worry about on the CT side, and overall I think it's another fantastic change, and I think I'm going to be saying that a lot throughout the rest of this video. They also finished the new balcony railing, and overall I'm kind of neutral on this. It was nice being able to just run right out here and clear this close right angle without jumping. Of course, you could still jump up here and kind of take it this way, but overall, I don't know if I'm a big fan of this. I think it's kind of an obstruction, to be completely honest. The rest of the changes were fairly minor. They did straighten out mid a little bit. I think it does look somewhat better. Banana as well, it's been lit up more, and if you'll notice, this back wall is more illuminated from this light, I believe, so it's going to be easier to see players alongside this area, and I think that's definitely working out the way they intended. So another pretty solid change. Now for Train, I'm actually very excited about this box being added right here. I think this is a fantastic change in terms of addressing a very barren feeling A site. I do think being able to take this angle or jump up here and take a peek is very good, but it's almost a little too strong for the CTs. This map to me feels excruciating to play on T side. It feels so slow, and I don't think that's doing anything to address it. While I do like the change overall, I think there should probably be more done to address the T side feeling horrible. And my least favorite part about CT side Train has been addressed. I hated taking fights from Z when I'm going out onto B, and finally they've added in a box to block off this upper area. This is a significant change here. It's going to very directly affect how this is going to play out, and now you've kind of got a nice clearing progression as you're going out here, which I definitely love. One other thing to keep in mind, you can peek on the left side of this box and actually take fights onto stairs. So from a CT side perspective, this may be a new jiggling spot. So yeah, you're gonna have to keep that in mind on T side, because I would not be expecting that at first glance. Now, they've also added in this box right here, and of course that is going to help out the Ts a little bit in terms of maintaining control here. It was very strong for CTs to go for little flash check plays out here. It's going to make them have to clear this out if they want to be sure. However, I think this may be more of a benefit for the CTs, since they could go back here after going for those check plays if no one's there and just tuck up and just have a lot of rat possible angles back here. So I'm not really sure how to feel about this box, but I do think just having more cover and more playability up here is positive, so I'm pretty good with this so far. So they've also changed this box up. I think it used to be red, from what I remember, and also they've made it jut out a little bit, so there's somewhat of a pocket here. This might be nice, and of course you can still do like the little flash jump throw, I think. You may just have to be standing a little bit closer to it so it goes all the way over. So you can still go for that sort of peak. But overall, I think that's a solid change. It's going to help out maybe with the way Ivy plays, because another thing that just felt a little awkward and claustrophobic. I don't know if this is going to be a big enough change to completely revolutionize the way this area of the map is, but I think, again, a solid thing to adjust. Everything else is mostly lighting, visibility, or just aesthetic related, so let's go ahead and move on to Overpass. First things first, this door has breakable glass on it, so does this one again. I believe beforehand it was not in CS2, so that's a pretty solid change. They also adjusted the railing here on Heaven, not that big of a deal overall. They've also flattened out a lot of the broken chips in the wall right here, which is pretty cool, but I think the thing most people are excited about is the fact they've added the wires back in, so you can actually use this as a lineup. I think used to I would aim about here so it would go a bit deeper, but a little bit of a better reference point now to throwing deeper heaven smokes, so I'm definitely a pretty big fan of that change. They at least took a little bit of care of the lineup community there, so way to go, Valve. And of course, they've also adjusted the angle of the truck here, and that is going to have a few impacts on different fights. I believe they said they adjusted the truck bed to where you can't see stairs anymore. I don't actually know exactly what they mean by that. I'm thinking maybe this corner pocket and like this area here, it's harder to hold stairs from. That would be my guess, because obviously if they're talking about this, you can see both of the stairs from up here. So I don't know. I'm guessing it has to do with that pocket there. But overall, I think that's a solid change. Not going to have that big of an impact, in my opinion, but still pretty good. So they've also moved this wall up a little bit, and they've also retextured it. So whenever you're boosting over it, you may feel like you have a little bit better cover. And just overall, I think it looks a little better for visibility. But other than that, again, not the biggest of deals. All right, for the rest of this video, I'm just going to show off the weapon animations one by one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. They claim they changed the inspect animations. I couldn't really tell much of a difference, but there is a huge difference on a lot of the weapons when it comes to firing, reloading, and just pulling them out in general. So again, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.